personal training space, any kind of personal development coaching, most of their clients are women, and that's no accident. That's because generally speaking, men are not raised and conditioned to be teachable.
Know this man is out there. And it's just a matter of finding him. 7-figure salary.
Right.
Already said morning routine.
Marriage a requirement for you?
At this point in my life, yes.
Once you meet that person, you need to be patient. Don't just be jumping up and down like you're going to be single. And then you come to me and come and say, my name is this, I'm 60.
90% of all beautiful and independent women will never get married, but the ugly ones will.
Of single people, like the number of people that message me daily, a lot of them are in the same, like, preference box, like in terms of age, location, religion, like a lot of things. But for some reason, you guys are still single. I've tried to do matches that maybe there was just a little bit of distance, or maybe something little started like happening in the beginning and they called it quits immediately. Guys, I just want to tell you this. If you are single, even if you're married, it is not green anywhere. Like, it's not greener on the other side. Every relationship that you see that is successful today, it's because the two people in it are willing to work every day to choose each other and to walk through their differences, build together and things like that. So if you're meeting someone for the first time, give them a chance. Once they meet all your basic preferences, they meet your location preference, they meet your age preference, they meet maybe your religious preference, give it a while to get to know them. Now, I'm not saying you should give time wasters like the time of day. No. I think as we grow, we have our instincts. We're able to know when we meet people that want to waste our time. Sometimes they might come with different colors and cloud your eyes, but at some point you're meant to be able to tap out of that delusion and wake up, right? So give people a chance. When you're in the talking stage, it is so normal to actually have issues. Like, if you don't have issues in the talking stage, it means you guys are pretending. Because if you truly want to learn about someone, you might have disagreements. That's how you get to learn, how do they like to handle this situation? What are their tolerances? What are their boundaries? You learn those things through disagreement. So you can't just up and leave after every little disagreement. You're going to remain single for a long time. So if you see someone that meets all those boxes, that ticks at least 80% of your boxes, 80% is even so much. Let's even say 70%. Your most important basic preferences. Once you meet that person, you need to be patient. Don't just be jumping up and down like you're going to be single. And then you come to me and come and say, my name is this, I'm 60 and I'm searching. I've never been married, no kids. You're the one that is doing your stuff. You're your village people. There's no village people that is chasing you. You are the village people. Anyways, I just let me drop my 2 cents because I don't want you guys to remain single. I want us to go for weddings. And the weddings that we've seen so far in this community, that came from from this community, not just from outside, are people that actually, they were intentional. So if you're not intentional, I can't help you. How else do you want me to help you? Tell me. Anyways, make sure you share this with all your single friends or even those people that are in marriage.
Now, you notice she said, all of the ladies, you don't want to be 60. And why would she say that? Because that's what she's seeing. And there's so many dating coaches all around the world that are going through the same thing. Every city, every state, every country even. Same problem. What do I mean? You even see that talk in Africa, you see that talk in even places in Colombia, you see that talk everywhere. Right? Everywhere guys go to even, you see this talk. Why? Because you can't run from the problem. Because no matter where you go, there you are. I said it, and that's facts, right? Because it is. Like, look what happened when people go over to other countries and they just think they can be themselves because they've never been around anything. They see a problem, they start freshening up. Same thing with females. They see a problem. That's always with females. Most of the problems are with females. And that's who needs a lot of correcting. And that's why a lot of dating coaches are starting to become life coaches. Maybe she needs to make a change. Seriously.
On what I want.
This lady's
There's a
I've
lot
said
of
this
boxes
before.
that need to be ticked. I know this man is out there. And it's just a matter of finding him. 7-figure salary.
Right.
Already said morning routine.
Delusional.
Yes.
That includes some sort of exercise with group accountability, as well as
Group
some sort
accountability?
of very high nutrition, I'm going to say smoothie. At least.
The lady said she got quiet. At least some smoothie. Lady's like, huh? High nutrition fruit smoothie? Like, why is so particular? Let me let it keep going.
Least
Watch this.
5'10". I feel like that's generous. I need him to be obviously in very good shape. I need him to have a full head of hair. That's very important to me.
Okay.
Be a Christian, but not take it too seriously.
What?
Like, I don't want to have to go to church every Sunday, but I also I don't want to get into fights over religion either.
Sure. Of course.
I want him to have an impeccable wardrobe. I want his suits to be tailored.
This is too much. I'm not going to go on because this lady talks for another 3 or 4 minutes. This is a problem. And this is most modern women. But it's the attitude.
Why 90% of all beautiful and independent women will never get married, but the ugly ones will. And for this video, I'm going to speak about the beautiful ladies and why they are going to find it so hard to find a partner. But always you'll find all the ugly women. Check in your school, the people that you studied with, and they were, they weren't that beautiful. They're all married, they have families. But you and your good looks, you're struggling to find a husband. And is it that men don't want beauty? Well, that's not the point, but I want you to get the point here. Now, there are a couple of reasons why men just don't like beautiful women when it comes to marriage, but they will want them just to use them and to do, go for parties and all that. But when they want to settle down, they will never want to marry such kind of a woman. Remember one of the things about these beautiful ladies is that most of these ladies, they think that you owe them money. The fact that they are beautiful, they think that you owe them money. They think that all the time, just because I'm looking good, you have to pay all my bills. You have to do this and this and this. And men are always watching and saying, for this one, no, this is a waste of time. This one should make me broke. And such kind of ladies also, remember one thing, they themselves, they are always broke. And they require favors all the time. This is a fact. Go and check in most. Even if this lady, has it all, she has the money, she will always pretend broke just because she's beautiful. I just don't know why it happens like that. And men are always watching. They're saying, here, there's a big problem. And to some of these ladies, just the fact that you say hi to them is like they have instantly become orphans. It's like their life depends on you. It's like they never lived before you came in. And you find that most of the men, they find this to be a bother, and they are not that they don't want to give or they don't want to help or do something, but I don't know, it's just a trend with beautiful women. They like this so much. And they're also too soft for life, and most of them know nothing. You will find that most men, if they are going to do some, people are going to maybe Gikomba to go and look for clothes for selling and things like that. They will never dare go with these beautiful ladies. In most cases, men will go with, you know, these, I'll call them tomboyish kind of ladies. Ladies who are hustlers, go-getters. You'll find that, hey, I have this best friend of mine who we can go shopping and doing this and brokering this and that and this. But for the beautiful ladies, very many men will just find them soft for nothing, and they'll only call them wherever there are parties and things like that, or maybe they want to just enjoy some Safari Sevens and, you know, celebrate something, or birthday parties, but they'll never go to them where they're going to hustle. That's really true. And remember one thing also with these beautiful ladies, they are always in high demand from playboys. Very high demand. Being with them is like planting maize at the roadside, because everybody wants a piece of them.
Yeah, it's true. And this man was given church, and when he stated, he said something, right? There's a reason why men don't want to be with him. Beauty is stated in Proverbs 31:30, right? What does that say? It says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised. That's when they say they want a Proverbs 31 woman, or when they say, you hear ladies say, be a Proverbs 31 woman. That's what it is. Because beauty is vain. Show it your inner side and show that you're beautiful inside. That's what men want.
Kids.
Yeah,
How many different baby daddies?
the same one.
Oh, okay. Is he heavy in the picture?
No,
So you're thugging it out by yourself?
I am.
You think about having more kids down in the future?
If my husband wants one, I'll give him one.
Is marriage a requirement for you?
Sorry?
Is marriage a requirement for you?
At this point in my life, yes. Ooh. Dang.
Yikes. What happened?
She said marriage was a
You
requirement for
don't-
her.
okay. You were feeling this king.
Yeah, I was.
We tried to get you a real one. This is a king right here. But we thank you so much for coming out. You can walk back the way you came, and we thank you for coming
Well, it
out.
was nice meeting you.
All right,
See, people played the brother. You got to see this. Look at this. She's so out of his league. It's marriage a requirement for you? Trying to play him, right? She was interested. How much did they pay her? If audacity had a shadow. See, they're saying this, right? But notice what she said. She had a smile on her face. She said, yes, I was feeling him. Now, these people, all they see is beauty is vain, right? But why was she desperate? Because she's down and out. Probably other guys saw or know she has 2 kids and said, I don't want to be bothered, right? Now, she wants to get married. She's probably coming out of a marriage, which she divorced the guy. Nobody thinks about that. This young brother thought about that. She's desperate for a reason. She wants him for a reason. She wants to cling on to him and sink her teeth and jaws into him and suck his life out, and he wasn't going for it. That man is smart. Shouts out to you, brother. He's watching videos like this and becoming aware.
Sex with men who wore Adidas slides and dirty white socks. You know the ones. I wish I could tell me then that I'd be married to like a whole ass pediatrician sitting outside in our backyard by the fire he built me, drinking an old fashioned, waiting for him to come downstairs to join me because he's putting our kids to bed. Marry the nerd.
So this video went viral. I'm sure that most people have seen it, but I want to talk about the conversation that I actually think is going on in this video. This is probably going to be an uncomfortable truth about modern dating. For a lot of people, both men and women, who they're attracted to when they're younger tends to change as they gain more wisdom and maturity and their priorities shift. I also think that when you're younger, more people tend to crave novelty, variety, new experiences. They tend to crave a dopamine rush, excitement, adventure. And the reality is, there are certain types of people, both men and women, who embody that. Some men and women are just simply super, super hot. They're very charismatic. They're flirtatious. They know how to sort of be like the flashiest person in the room. And so a lot of people, when they're younger, they gravitate towards that type. And then a lot of people realize that that type of person tends to have an ego. They're narcissistic. They don't have the intrinsic character qualities for a long-term relationship. Maybe they're used to getting so many options that it wouldn't be a good option for a relationship. But I think part of the disconnect with this conversation is that there are some people, both men and women, but let's talk about the men for a second because that's what this video is about. There are some guys who were nerds, you know, when they were younger. There are some guys who they didn't really have a lot of options with women because maybe they weren't super social. They didn't go out to the bars that much. Maybe when they did meet women, they weren't super overtly flirtatious like the, you know, player guy or the F-boy guy. Maybe they weren't charismatic enough. They were intelligent, but they didn't really have charisma or charm. And so they had like all of the on-paper qualities, but maybe they didn't have the qualities that could really make women like develop strong feelings for them in like a bar or off of a dating app or something like that. And so some of those guys, you know, they go years and years and years and maybe they go on a couple dates that don't go anywhere. Women don't feel a spark with them. They don't really have a lot of options with women. A lot of women don't find them attractive. And then
All right, stop it right there, right? Because you're going in on men and you're trying to make it seem like you're for men, but you're going in on men. What do I mean? We just saw an example, a video before this, on how these guys are winning now. Right? You saw that guy? He looked like a nerd. He very well may have been a nerd. See, you didn't see what he said before then. He probably said, yeah, I'm in IT and I own an IT company and I have 15 employees. You don't know. I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know that's what happened. If somebody saw it and that didn't happen, fine. But I'm saying what I saw, right? And from what you're explaining, these men are winning and females are losing from making the mistakes of getting with Chad and Brad and all of those guys. They made Chad and Brad their dad, and now they're not glad and they're mad and they're trying to get with a guy that's smart because they're sad. That's what's happening. And guys are not going for it. Like the man said, she wanted to marry. I wanted to see if she wanted to carry, and I don't want to deal with her.
Women, single women in particular, taking advice from young single men. I do see relationship coaches out there who are like not even 35, barely lived any life across both genders, quite frankly, but particularly male men. Right? And I think a lot of women may think that you are going to be given a window into how men think and what they want, when really you should be focusing on yourself and your own development. Because what happens is with a lot of these male coaches and guides and mentors, etc., they are capitalizing off of the yearning that women have to be in relationships. That's the first thing. They know that women are often more teachable and moldable. That's why they sell to women. If you speak to a lot of these male coaches, even in the personal training space, any kind of personal development coaching, most of their clients are women, and that's no accident. That's because generally speaking, men are not raised and conditioned to be teachable. They do struggle to pay for advice and coaching, right? They often find other means to be mentored by men that don't involve them paying. Okay, and so a lot of these coaches that I observe online, they haven't even lived any life. They're not parents, okay, and they are not in healthy, mutually fulfilling marriages themselves. And yet women are handing over money and sitting there and taking what they say hook, line, and sinker, and all doing, oh, this is profound. Half the time they're not sharing anything profound. And one of the things I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to say it unapologetically, a lot of the time when I sit and listen, because here's the thing, I was in a religion which was led by men. So I have literally aggregated, if you aggregate the time I was in that religion, I've spent years of my life listening to men, telling women who they are in God's eyes, what life holds for them, how they should behave and be in order to get God's approval, when really It's a proxy for what men want in order to respect you and approve of you. It's not really what God wants. And so when you are listening to these pastors and these coaches, especially the ones who are not in mutually fulfilling marriages, who don't have children, haven't even experienced parenthood, are in their mid-30s, early 30s, this is not wisdom. Right? This is not wisdom. And often what they're giving you a window into is being able to tolerate and build your capacity to be with men who are misogynistic, to be with emotionally underdeveloped men. Because I hear lots of them say, yeah, but everyone's imperfect and people have attachment issues that they might seek to heal in relationship with you. And then you've got women accepting disrespectful behavior, women hesitant or unaware of how to even set boundaries and follow through. Because there you are martyring your nervous system. There you are being led by your hormones and desire to be accepted and chosen by a man, but you're accepting disrespect, being told that that's just his imperfection, that's his journey of development, that he's healing through you, and that, you know, it's bad it's an indication of an attachment style formed in childhood when you don't be curious and ask him more questions about why he's being disrespectful. You know, you're being too hasty by choosing to cut contact after you've seen certain behaviors be demonstrated, when clearly what you're seeing as a pattern and a habit of behavior, when clearly if he...
You see that balance in your eyes. I can see it in your eyes. You're a violent feminist. That's why, you know, you hear it from ladies, from femmes and what do you call them? Femmes and butches, right? That you ladies are the craziest, and they say it, and they don't hold back. Men hold back. They hit, right? But you're violent. You were a Christian, I can tell, because you know you're against God, because you believe in feminism, and here we are, guys. This needs to stop, because you know when it all comes down to it, and you come to meet your maker, and you say, "But you were following me. What happened?" You're gonna say, "Well, feminism told me." He'll say, "Who, Satan?" It's crazy.
Matchmaker this week. You wouldn't be able to work with me. When we met, I told her what I was looking for, like doing. I also told her I was looking for a man who was also a leader, because I don't want to always be the leader, believe it or not. I told her I was looking for someone that was at or above the same income level as me, driven, who is ambitious, who is ready for a long-term.
She ran because you probably talked to her just like she's talking. See, I know you guys have seen this before, but you see the perfection. You can tell in the way she's preparing her face. She said, "Oh no." See, matchmakers understand you, ladies. So as soon as you started doing what you're doing now, you probably should say, "I need a man like the other girl, 6 feet tall." She should have just hung up on you. Seriously. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I guess when I got older, I got very disrespectful. I had less patience. I had you as a client, I'd hang up. You know I'm dropping you from hanging up. You say, okay. Did the call disconnected? They call me back, hang up again. You go, you'll get the point. You call me again, hang up again. Don't get it? Hang up again. Because that's what needs to happen. Seriously. That's what men need to start doing. What this girl say? Hang up. Call back. Hang up. That's the only way you're gonna know.
Is your love for this man unconditional?
Yes.
Is that your experience, sir?
I've had a lot of struggles with physical attraction. I tried to tell myself that physically that was all that I needed, and it wasn't. I feel that she was the person I was meant to be with.
I could go ahead and pluck that low-hanging fruit, but I'm not going to do that. But I am going to fondle it just a little bit. Imagine being so mediocre looking.
That's nasty. I wonder what she's going to say. Gonna fondle it.
So physically unattractive in every way, and yet stating not only to your wife, but to your wife in front of another person how physically unattractive you find her. And the fact that she's still standing there, but that
Yeah, he's told her in public, I'm sure. And they're there for a reason. That's probably, that's Tony Robbins, right? I believe. I think so. He's probably giving coaching sessions, and it was a time to speak to him. He's being honest. I'm sure he's told her before. Guys are dealing with ladies all the time that become overweight. He says something then, it got worse. He says something then, it got worse. And he's dealt with it for many, many years. What else is he to do now? Who is he to go to? I'm sure he's went to therapists about it. And so now when he goes back and he sees, say if he, I don't think he has this, probably Tony Robbins. But still, say if he had this video, he's gonna say, "Oh wow, somebody else reacted to me," and he start flipping. Somebody else reacted to me, trying to tell me what I did wrong. Hold on.
That's a video in and of itself. These are the same types of men who tell women that they're unhappy because they look past, they don't choose the average ugly men. These are the same types of men that will tell women that are 35 and up that they should take what they can get. He's standing there with the woman whose life he is wasting because in his mind, he took what he could get. But as angry as I am at him, I'm even more angry at her because I guarantee she's heard this numerous times before, how physically unattractive he finds her, how he feels like she's not his person, and she's allowing him to waste the best years of her life. Everything about this video is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for him to see that he thinks he's better than what he is. And it's heartbreaking for me to see her allowing him to think that he is better than what he is.
Now this is why I cut it off and explained what I explained, because I already knew that was going to come out of her mouth, right? I was explaining that because that's always the reason why they're defending each other. It just doesn't make sense. You know that man's pain. She doesn't understand his pain. You have some females out there that do, and they speak about it, and then you have this. This is what we're dealing with now.
I am a female, and I do work with a lot of single women that I have.
A lot of single women who choose to marry before they carry, do things out of order, and you don't get the father's story, right?
I'm speaking about dating.
No, ma'am, I'm speaking about you're trying to set the table in a way. Do these women in social work come in here and they're married women who have children as a result of marriage and their husbands are still around?
Some, yes, sir.
Some, what percentage? 1 in 4 black women were married. Careful.
Married about 6%.
So 94% of these women aren't.
Yes, sir.
So when you say some, I don't understand why y'all do that. Some, if your kid came home and said, "Mom, here's my grade," and he gave you an F minus, you said, "Boy, you didn't get nothing. What did you do? You got an F minus?" I got some of them right. You got 6 right, but you got 94 wrong. You'd be like, "Oh, okay, so you got all right." No, ma'am, you are danger. And you advise other women?
Absolutely, yes. I do. Absolutely, yes.
Ma'am, you really shouldn't have said that.
Why? It's the truth. It's the truth.
Because you shouldn't be advising anybody.
You can't make this. She shouldn't, and for the other lady that says something about men when they're younger, it's a difference in a younger man and a younger female. See, what happens is ladies that go, "Oh, our brains develop faster than men's." Not really. Like, who told you that lie? Yes, it develops faster than men when you're younger, but when you get older, it's like all of your brains are switched off. And then you say things like, "Oh, girl math," and every man is not handsome when men don't wear makeup. And there needs to be more handsome guys out there. And then you ladies get on dating apps and you only see the guys that are, it's just a never ending circle. And that's the dating market. So every city, every state the same problem, and matchmakers are starting to say, I can't deal with you. Right? Even good old Kevin Samuels was a matchmaker before he passed. Right? He was. He set up females with high value men. That was his thing. He didn't really get a chance to do it, but he was going to be a matchmaker. And it was going to be successful. Because a matchmaker is usually successful when it is a man. So a lot of times when ladies are paying men matchmakers, like the one lady, right? She paid, I think it was, I forgot the guy's name, but she paid him like around $5,000. It could have been $25,000, right? And she found somebody. So why are you talking about it? If she found somebody and she got married to him, you paid $25,000. The man said he's gonna find you somebody. He did. Send that man a gift. But yeah, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Please be sure to subscribe. Other than that, peace out. See you next video.
Imagine where you will be, and it will be so. Hold the line. Stay with me.
The Iceman is coming!
Winter is here.